Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. It's Chad Hyams here and Bob. I was practicing a long time. Stewart over there. Bob, how are you doing today?
All right, I think we're at the end of this little, I know you've been doing this, but
Bob, I could go longer.
That one got a little awkward. I'm not going to lie. It's just...
I could have held it
Chad
longer.
Hyams, wait. This is the first time I've seen you since your TED Talk.
Yes.
We'll talk about it later, or is there how'd it go?
Well, we're not here to talk about my TED Talk. Maybe on our next episode, it will be discussed. We have so much more important stuff to discuss today. Folks, Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm going to take us.
I was going to say, if they want the video, if and when it does drop, the easiest way. Yeah, well, Ted gets to approve. The easiest way to be on that list is text the word unscripted, which was the theme, unscripted to 59559. Text unscripted to 59559. You'll be on my mailing list. I will make sure you get it if and when it drops, so I can hopefully impact your life in yet another way. Bob, what's been going on with you?
Well, so here's the deal. You book most of our guests. In fact, maybe you've booked every single guest. Every guest?
Almost. You might have brought one.
I brought one. Okay, fine. I brought one. Chad books all the guests. I never know who we're having until I look at it. Last night, I almost was like, Chad, you should probably handle this one yourself. This guy had, we get you send me the invite. It had nutrition in one of his email addresses. He's got a couple different email addresses. There was nutrition in there. So immediately I'm like, oh, here we go. Chad's trying to get me. This guy's fitness, nutrition. I think he's got more to, I realize now after I checked him out a little bit and we've chatted with him a little bit before, he's got more to his story than that, which is, I think, why you brought him. It wasn't just to catch me off guard and pin me down on my nutrition. Or no, is it? Am I walking into something?
I was going to say, Bob, you are a few minutes late logging in. I have you set up without you knowing that our guest today is going to talk amazing stories and then bust Bob for his nutrition because we want legacy, which is you sticking around with your kids long enough, as you'll figure from the story. Bob, that's enough then. Let's get right to it and bring our guest on to the call today. That's Tim Rexius. Tim, welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. Honored to be here.
We are excited to have you. We don't read bios, so that beautiful bio that was sent over from your team, you on behalf, whatever it was, beautiful, love it, won't read it. Introduce yourself to our audience however you see fit.
My name's Tim Rexius from Omaha, Nebraska, father of 6 kids. Yes, 6. And you guys can't see the video, but I have no color left in my hair. And it's not because I'm old, it's because they age me. And my daughters seem to think a credit card limit is a challenge. Now I'm a grandpa to a 1-year-old, which is awesome. And I'm his favorite. I can say that shamelessly because my wife's not on here. I own 5 companies based here in Nebraska, including Rexius Nutrition Stores, VHI Nutraceuticals, Iron Heaven Gyms, Timothy D. Rexius keynote speaking, and the Omaha Protein Popcorn Company. So I am a serial entrepreneur of the 10th frickin' degree. And eventually I promise my wife I will learn how to take a freaking vacation.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
6.
Wait, I have
one. And Bob, here's something we just learned before you say his wife won't listen either.
She doesn't listen to the podcast. Okay, good.
His wife won't listen. Yours doesn't. Mine doesn't. Wives just don't. They hear enough of us on other times. So, Bob, question ones do you always do?
Well, it's not a question. It's, you know what popped into my head, Tim? You have, as a new grandpa, I'm sure have you seen the videos of the little children showing up at grandma and grandpa's house and the parents sets them down on the sidewalk and they run and they go right around grandma and they go find grandpa? Have you seen those videos?
I've seen every one of those videos. I've sent a copy of that shit to my wife and my daughter, and Papa's number 1. So, that's just how it is. And now he says Papa all the time because my daughter's like, you can't give him 5 cookies. I'm like, well, joke's on you. I already gave him 6. Papa don't have rules. I do whatever I want. So, yeah, it's the best. And I can't wait as he's walking now, he's starting to run, and it's straight to Papa, and I freaking love it, man. It's the greatest thing ever.
And does he love the popcorn?
Yes. It's about the only protein source this kid gets in, much like my other kids, which is why I invented it. So, because my youngest is 7. So my kids span 20 years in age, and trying to get a 7-year-old to eat protein that doesn't come in the form of a freaking chicken nugget or chocolate milk is like negotiating with a terrorist. So I give him candy coated popcorn. He thinks he's the winner, and he's actually getting protein. So,
all right, folks, you're hearing that, and you're wondering what we're talking about. We'll come back to it, so you have to stay with the podcast to learn more about this popcorn. All right, Bob, where do you want to start?
I'm a firm believer that most of the great entrepreneurs in our world were born out of strife and challenge and gritty environments. And, Chad, our partner, Ben Kinney, grew up really poor with no running water. And these situations mold us. And, as somebody raising my kids in, I don't know, maybe an upper middle class household, I worry about their lack of struggle and grit. And so I guess I want to go back to early in Tim's story, when he was living in your car. Tim, can we start there and maybe just talk about how, and maybe you'll say, nope, that wasn't the catalyst for what I would go on and do and grow and build, but it feels like maybe it was. Can we start there?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it moved out and went to college, figured out I like to party, and first time on my own, and got in a little bit of trouble, drinking beer and doing that thing underage. And I had just enough money to do 2 of 3 things: pay my rent, pay my lawyer, or start a business. And I figured that pay my lawyer, had to do that, and got myself out of some trouble that I got myself into, and start a business. Because I only had enough money for 1 month of rent anyways. And I figured nobody else is giving me a shot. It's a small town when college isn't in session. It's the summer. I got to figure some shit out. I figure I'll make enough money. I'm good enough at selling stuff. I'll be able to, get rent. Well, I wasn't, but I spent all my money on a lawnmower hanging out of the back of my freaking Oldsmobile, walking around, started poor college kids lawn service. And I figured it was a great name. Broke into the computer lab at Wayne State College, printed off 1,000 flyers illegally stuffed them in mailboxes all over town, including the police chief. So I got to mow his yard for free for the rest of the year. And at the point that I just had no money, and, it's gas and just figuring it all out. And it did, obviously a slow start. I remember in that first week or two, a buddy of mine was under the straits too. And we ended up stealing ketchup packets from McDonald's and Runza, and then heating them up in water to make tomato soup. Quite literally broke, breaking, going to the gas station, showering at the rec center. Slept in that car for almost 6 months. I kind of got used to it. Now, granted, anyone listening, it was a 1983 Delta 88 Oldsmobile Royale, which 37 feet long. It's how they really built cars back in the day. Shit didn't drive down the highway. It glided. So it's like having a 2-bedroom apartment.
It's one of those wheels that you could steer it. And you just kept going straight.
Oh, you just kept going, brother. I mean, all 9 miles to the gallon on that hog. Thank God gas was only 89 cents at the time per gallon, so I could swing that shit. But it just, and I got really good at it, and I got really cheap. I realized that certain things I don't need when I'm 100% on my own. And I also realized that as I started looking for jobs, as got back into college in session, that what they wanted to pay me sucked. And I was like, but I'm good. I don't want your rules. I'm a terrible employee. I thank God I get to do what I do, because getting a real job would absolutely suck. I would get fired immediately. And I wanted to be in my own hands. And I've gone through this poor to rich cycle in my life 3 times. And all it does is re-cement me on the fact that if I don't believe in me, nobody else will, and if it wasn't for that point in my life, sleeping in my car, cold at night, hungry in the morning, I don't know if I'd be here with 5 companies. I mean, 5 companies is insane. I don't wish what I do upon most people if you're not built for it. 100-hour work weeks, you got to fucking love that shit. I haven't been home in Omaha more than 3.5 days in a row since December. Quite literally, 5 countries. I've been nonstop because that's the speed I go, but it all gets back. And then, thank God I got a wife who reminds me every once in a while. She goes, we're not poor because I act like it. But I think you go back to that point when you absolutely had nothing, and it just never leaves your DNA, and it just can't. And every once in a while, you need that nice humility reminder that, it's on you. If you want to get some shit done, you got to figure it out.
You know what this makes me think of, Chad? We talk, Tim, about the difference between being poor and being broke. Being poor is as children, I grew up poor. I didn't have much control over that. being broke is different. Like we can do something about being broke. Being poor was like, that was the circumstances we were given. Right. Yeah. So it sounds to me like you went broke a couple times, but you never had that poor mentality. Like some of us were raised with it and we figured, we were raised in it. And so we were like, I don't want to be like this. Like I'm poor now, but that was that was cast on me. Right. Like I'm going to make a decision. I'm never going to be broke. It sounds like you've made, and look, sometimes, by the way, sounds like maybe it's happened to you once or twice. Chad, it happened to Ben. It's happened to me. We go do Chad, it's happened to you. We go do the thing and we don't do it right. We make some poor decisions along the way and we end up broke and we're like, well, dang, I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to go do it again, but I'm not going to end up broke again. That mindset of, I don't know, providing, I guess, where did that come from in you?
I mean, you go back. One of us, I wanted to make a name for myself in a lot of ways. I wanted to be indispensable.
Why?
My dad left. My mom and dad got divorced when I was very young. And I had a great stepdad, great work ethic, grew up working on the farm, which taught me something I did not want to fucking do for a living. And I mean, I love the physical work, don't get me wrong, but like that ain't for me. And I didn't see that side of my family for many, many years. And I kind of an abandonment thing, I think, I wanted a dad. I wanted a male figure who, had that relationship with me as a son. And I didn't have it. And I remember my older brother is my one full biological brother. He's like, I remember in high school, he's like, we got to make a name for ourselves. And I guess we fucking do. Like, we're the only two Rexiuses here. We're going to make a name for ourselves. We're going to stamp our foot in the fucking ground. We're going to plant the flag and you're going to know what my name is. And then, as I progressed in my career, it turned into, how do I make this generational? Like what makes me move is not what my kids say about me or my grandkids. It's what are my great grandkids told about me? Have I done enough big shit to make sure that my name doesn't die? Because then right now the hair of the back of my neck stands up because that's what drives me to the nth degree that most people would think is absolutely insane. And it all goes back down to when I was a kid and just, the days sitting in front of the window waiting for dad to show up and doesn't show up.
That means unforgettable. That's the legacy part of what we have here at Win Make Give, right? It's health, wealth, leadership, legacy. Legacy is your great-grandchildren still knowing the name, being proud of the name being there and meaning something. One of the things you mentioned early when you and I were just talking while we were waiting for Bob, you haven't just built multiple companies. You've built the companies and they're run by and with your family.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that. We got a lot of partners, spouses, parents and child that are working together. What are the challenges? What is the way that maybe the youngster listening right now that the parent wants them to take over the business that you were able to use to get your kids to want to be involved? And then, Tim, while you're on that, where is the line of, I'm dad or I'm boss? And how do you keep that so that the relationship grows correctly in both places?
Well, I've screwed it up 6 ways to Sunday, so I can tell you how that process has happened. I mean,
that's a successful entrepreneur right there.
A couple years back, I mean, my oldest daughter, she was my tag along, right? So every little sampling event, table pop up for any company, she was there when she was in high school. She's bubbly, blonde hair, blue. She just has that customer service mentality. She was great, but did she like the products? No, she didn't like them at all. And then all of a sudden there was a couple years, about 5 years when she moved away and got older. No one's working in any of the businesses, not the retail stores, not the gyms, not the brands, nothing. And my wife and I was fucking depressed about it. And I was like, nobody wants to follow my footsteps. And
like you built all this, you built it for the legacy of your family. And you're like,
and nobody and nobody's into what I'm doing. And all my daughters are dating or married to, like I was a bodybuilder for 15 years and they're all dating these very skinny, small guys, and my wife's the one that potted out. She goes, you realize that all the guys they're dating or marrying are your exact mentality. They just don't have your physicality. So they act like you, but you can still kick their ass if you needed to. I go, you know what? This turned out better than I thought. And I was kind of like that. As a dad, you always want to know, like, hey, this guy needs to know I can break him in half. It just gives you that sense of security, right? And then all of a sudden things started progressing and going into a space that I wasn't comfortable in, which was social media. I mean, I got one of my companies into 12 countries before I ever ran an ad. It's just not my comfort space. I don't know anything about it. I tried to learn, and God knows I spent hundreds of hours on what I call YouTube University, and finally realized that my kids are my target market, right? They spend money, like we said earlier. Daughters spend money like it's a job. I'm like, okay, if I want to start selling this like the Omaha protein popcorn to, their generation, their age group who are on TikTok and they're on YouTube. And I started looking at my kids like I was a student again, instead of the CEO with all the accolades, because that's what it is. Like, why are you watching this? Why'd you buy that? All these questions. I started looking at my kids more as assets to every business than I did as, maybe a possible liability or a possible employee, right? I mean, like, if I'm going to put this kid in charge, I mean, he's going to be able to handle all these people who rely on this business to support their family, which is how I looked at it for a long time. So I set these standards that were probably unachievable and realized that every one of my kids is different. So I'm like, hey, my daughter's got a really great eye for making things aesthetically pleasing. I hate that frickin' term. She used it all the damn time. But, you guys can't see this or listen to audio, but she's the one who designed the bag. It's pretty, and and they just they designed the mascot and for the popcorn company, and it's fun, and it's all this, and sales went up quite literally. Changed the name, changed the packaging. Sales went up 16,000% in 24 months.
Wow!
And then you guys create the social media content. You guys do the TikToks. Don't worry about what I would do, because guys my age don't buy shit. We don't. Women make 80% of buying decisions in the household. I have no business designing a social media ad or a retail product at all. I can invent the shit out of it, but that's not my space. So I started empowering them and giving them their own space. You do this. How would you want it done? All right, we just had a meeting about marketing this morning. We're going to let them have the wheels off. Whatever they want to put on TikTok, I get no say-so in it all. And they get to reap the rewards or the consequences of their actions. And so I changed how I view as a parent over the last 5 years, as a parent at all. And I do the same thing with the businesses. I'm not your dad. I'm your agent. I want my 10% cut. Okay. So I'm going to give you the best advice I possibly can for the best possible outcome, because I earned this gray hair. If, it's like my kids, if you want to get a giant blunt tattooed on your forehead, I'm going to tell you it's probably a bad idea. It's probably going to make you unhireable. But if you're going to do it, I would like to be there taking pictures of witnesses shit. Okay. But it's going to kill your contract, which means I'm going to get a lower 10% cut. So everything I do is from an agent mentality. And I've done this for years now. I don't check homework. I've never checked a single piece of homework in 6 kids ever, and I don't plan on it. That's your job. Okay. You want to do your work, you deal with the consequences and the rewards of that. You don't, you deal with the consequences and the repercussions of that. I do it with work too. I give them their own space and I rely on their own expertise in their own field. I don't want them copying me. I don't buy stuff. Guys, I haven't bought a piece of clothing in probably 10 years. My wife won't let me go grocery shopping because I'll buy the cheapest shit in the biggest bulk bag humanly possible that nobody wants to eat because I'm a cheap ass, because I still feel like I'm homeless. Like they wanted me to get a thing of rice from the grocery store. What did I do? I went to Sam's Club. I bought a 50-pound bag that says white rice on it. It's still sitting in my pantry 9 years later. So I shouldn't be doing this shit anyways. So let your kids be empowered in the business and find their space, find where their talent is, and let them just do it. And I do this with all my staff. I want to see somebody's made of. Well, I don't want them copying me. If I wanted to do it, I would do it. So I let them have their own autonomy. And, my oldest son, kid's 170 IQ, and he's in the warehouse right now, earning it from the bottom, right? And he's like, I think it's better this way. I go, cool, do it. Really? Yeah,
I think
do it.
The reality
put your money
is,
where your mouth is and figure it out.
If he wants, and I don't know if it's him or the daughter or who, one of them one day will take that thing over and they will have done many of the jobs. Right, like the son in the warehouse right now. He'll go to the next spot, and he'll go to the next spot, and if he decides to, he'll one day run the company, let's say, and he will know that company inside and out. He'll know how many packages that kid who's working there now should be stuffing.
Well, we're talking about like social media. So the Rexius stores are the longest standing business, and I started it. I worked there every day, and my original location's right by our house, number one grossing location we have in the country. And we had a downturn, economy 23 and 24. And so my daughter Zoe, who is right now one of my assistants and does a lot of my social media stuff, I was like, hey, we need to create some content for the store, post it up. And it needs to be educational, it needs to be this and that. Well, she ignored me. And she started copying a bunch of the funniest TikToks she had seen and making her boyfriend, who works in the store, be the star and get made fun of in most of these videos. And I'm happy to say that 6 months, 7 months after she did this, we've hit record-breaking numbers we haven't seen since before COVID. Not one piece of technical information has been shared with any customer. It's just funny. It's just hilarious. They made fun of me in a bunch of them. That's the number one trending video is them making fun of me. And I'm like, you know what? Ignore everything I say and do your own shit. That's it. And it's been fun. Giving them the space to figure out who they are and not be a mini copy of you is probably the best thing that we've done.
I heard you say, and I want to loop back to it. You said the rewards and the consequences, which is an obvious statement. We understand what you mean by it. And I get it for a 7-year-old. I get it for the 9-year-old, right? They're at home still. Dad can take away the Xbox if he needs to, right? If they're not doing the work, they can be taking the cell phone away, whatever we do nowadays. It was different in my age when my dad took stuff away. Yet the older ones who are working the business, who you're saying, look, I let them social media, go do it. There's the consequences and the rewards to it. I want to hear a little bit more about that in the business world, how you're doing it. Obviously, the rewards, if they grow the business, there's more income. If there's more income, they get more money. There's a reward. What kind of consequences? Talk about that, because there are many of our audience who their kids are in the industry, or even if it's not their kids, it's still their employees.
Oh, sure. I do the same thing with employees. It's the same deal across the board. They're all treated the same. And so like if Zoe's in charge of social media for the store, right? Well, all that staff, they get profit sharing. That's a good chunk of their check. If she doesn't perform and doesn't do what I said, right, and sales go down, and she's responsible to all 6 employees that are there who are now getting a smaller check and have to go home and explain to their spouse or their girlfriend or their kids why their check's $500 smaller. So they understand the pressure of what that looks like, and they have to face them. Because every failure in this company and every company, we share as a group. We share it as a group as a teaching lesson, and they know that. I mean, you're going to be held to the fire by 150 other people, and understand that there are real life consequences to bad choices. And if we're going to make bad choices, and it happens, we all screw up. More money is wasted by indecision than wrong decisions. We just got to make choices and go. Then we're going to learn from it as a group. Otherwise, when she gets promoted to another position or moves or goes to a different job, and I hire somebody else, or I elevate from within the company, I don't want that other person making the same freaking mistake again, because then I'm paying for it twice. And so they understand that they're held to the fire of everyone around them. And so far, I will say that all my kids, I mean, I've been very blessed in this aspect. They didn't want anybody else in the company to think they were handed anything. They have worked every low, beginning, bottom level job in every company that we have. They want everyone to know they deserve to be here. They've earned the spot. And sure as shit, you can guarantee that, my store manager at that store, he's like, please don't ever let her stop doing this. Because he's getting an extra $500,000-$600,000 a month because of her social media posting, making the store explode. Now they love her. And I'm going to make a comment about moving her to a different position. They're going to fight me like hell on this, because their paychecks depend on her doing the shit that she does. And so, and it's like with Tyler, if he screws up the shipping manifest, right, and we screw up orders, that's coming out of his check, the same as it would anybody else in the warehouse.
So profit share is the go-to, right? I mean,
I'm fascinated by that. Can we?
Everyone, every employee.
Do all of your businesses run like that? So all your business has some element that if we perform better as a group, I make more money. I think that's I have a different aspect. Like, you think the popcorn company, I mean, shit, we're looking at a possible massive acquisition exit in the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, functional food brands have been the biggest targets of acquisitions by Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Hershey's. And so my warehouse manager, he has a 1% profits interest share in that popcorn company. We sell for $1 billion, he gets $10 million. And every person, my assistants, everybody has a profits interest share in every outfit. And here's why. I look at things differently. Ownership, we hold on to this death grip of ownership shares to such an nth degree. And there's so many great financial ways of setting things up where people get profits interest or profit sharing. My view is I want everyone's hand in the cookie jar, everybody. Because if everyone has the same vested interest to see me be successful, I now don't have one owner. I have 150 of them running around, checking the light bill, making sure the toilet's not running over the weekend so I don't get some $2,000 water bill. And any of you out there who have a retail or physical property business, you know what I'm talking about, because it's fricking happened. They're watching the other staff from not overclocking in or, I have friends that would show up 2 hours early and hang out 2 hours late, and I'm getting 4 extra hours a day. That shit adds up across 13 locations. And it did happen. We had $10,000 in payroll stolen from us back in the day every month for 3 years before we caught it.
That's a big chunk of money. So my thought is let's have 150 little owners running around keeping shit clean, because owners do the things that employees don't. We care on after 5 p.m. We're checking Saturday and Sunday. We're picking up. We're doing the little things correctly, because everything affects our check now and our future exit later. And by doing that, I've had some of the best freaking staff and group around me that make me level myself up, because they want to make sure I'm doing my shit, because it also affects their check. And so it's just this, we've created this culture around of people of ownership mentality by actually giving them ownership.
That's so, I mean, go walk down any block in the United States and you can very clearly see who owns that house and who's just renting it. And employees that show up in your business simply for an exchange of their time for your hourly wage, they're a renter and they don't treat your business the same. Like, that's so smart.
Well, so the other thing is, you got to give them a reason. And, you can only pay people so much. And I figured out that standard payments, right, giving raises has never increased production for me in any outfit, from, physical property businesses, retail, direct to consumer, online marketing, wholesale distribution. And I've done it across the board over, a couple decades. And giving raises, it's like I almost got less production. I did. So I just make the incentive for production to be so high that, we're in this together and 100%. And I also I take my turn. Toilets overflowing and it's clogged, I'm down plunging. I'm not beyond any job either. And I think as a CEO, to lead a company in that way, you have to show them that you're willing to do everything that they do. So, I called my GM for our gyms yesterday, and I'm like, hey, we got a problem at the Gretna location, this, that, the other thing. I want you to go out there and make an action plan. Whatever you think we should do, that's what we're going to do. He's like, done. Versus me telling him, I need you to do these 15 things, he's going to gripe about it a little bit, because nobody likes, it's 45 minutes away, and, it's a pain in the ass to go see. But now I made it his thing. You tell us what you want to do, and that's what's going to get done. So by empowering them and cutting them in all as owners, it works for us. I mean, you got to think, I don't look at employment like an employee. I look at employment like a long-term future business partner interview. And if you're talented and you work hard and I'm pouring this much energy into you, I got to lock you down. I mean, why would I want to go create a future competitor? Let's figure out a way to partner. The reason I have 5 companies is because I keep finding people with such immense talent. I'm like, let's start something new, dude. Like, you're on fire. I need to be part with you for the next 40 years. And so that's why we've started so many companies.
Love it. And we've heard that so many times, Bob, right? The janitor to the CEO comment and bringing in owners. Audience, take a moment, stop. How do you take employees and make them partners so they take that same mindset? Tim, I have a question that I want to get to, yet this other question just popped into my mind, and I need a quick answer. What is it about Omaha that we have to name our popcorn and our steaks and all of our stuff about Omaha? I mean, I don't run around hearing people have Oklahoma popcorn and Arizona steak.
Because Oklahoma City sucks, Chad. Oklahoma City's garbage. Well, why didn't you even say that name?
Don't say that.
Omaha's so much better.
That's a basketball issue. We don't mean that to our Oklahoma City listeners.
No,
What's
we
with
do.
Omaha? I mean, even Peyton Manning had to steal the stage.
Drew Lee, if you're listening to this, Oklahoma City garbage.
I need to get Peyton Manning on an ad, like in the worst freaking way. Honestly, like, it's my mentality why every business we've had, we've kind of put our name on something, because I think most industries got over corporatized. In the nutrition industry, it was general nutrition, complete nutrition. It's just this nameless, faceless figure who's behind the brand. And for us, it's like, no, this is who we are. This is who we're responsible. When I grew up and you bought a car, you went down to Fred's Motors, you went to Morrissey, whatever. Why? Because you knew old man Fred. He's not going to give you a piece of shit. And if something happens, he's going to take care of it. You just had this sensibility. My dad still drives back to our hometown. He lives in Arizona half the year and in Nebraska half the year. He'll drive back to Norfolk, Nebraska and buy from the same dealership for 50 years. Why? Because the homeboy's going to take care of him. And so your name is everything. And so we wanted to make it, like, this is where we're from, where we are. I mean, nothing's more corn. It's popcorn, guys. I mean, all you have in Nebraska is freaking cornfields. I mean, it's just kind of self-explanatory, right? And all we have is a College World Series and a really terrible football team for the last 30 years. But we're still living on that 95 championship. Hey, go Skurs. Yeah. I got hope. I mean, that's all I got in Nebraska is hope and snow and corn. But
hey, what was the running back's name? Lawrence. What was his name? The guy.
Lawrence Phillips.
Lawrence Phillips. Man, yeah. What a tragic story for that guy.
Wow.
Well, then you had Amon Green with the Packers. God forgive him, but he was good. And then it's
Tommy Frazier. Was he the quarterback of that national championship team? Was that his name?
Yeah,
Tommy Frazier?
Was. Yeah. I've done a bunch of events with Tommy, and Tommy does not look like Tommy Frazier back then. Tommy now would play the line, but he's a great guy, and he's done a lot of benefits with us for different organizations.
Get into one of your gyms and start eating some of your popcorn. Okay.
Yep.
Now let's get to the question I really wanted to get. Other than why does Peyton Manning and steak companies and popcorn companies be obsessed with Omaha? One of the things that caught my eye when your stuff was sent over to me was this line right here. And it's why your story matters more than your pitch.
Yeah.
And we have a huge sales force as our audience. And they're out there with, how many times have you heard, Bob, what's your elevator pitch, right? You got to have the elevator pitch. What's the elevator pitch? Talk to me about this concept of your story versus the pitch.
Your story is your brand. Your brand is everything. There's a million people selling the same widget, right? What makes you different? How you got there, what created it, the story behind it is what allows people to attach to you emotionally and find a connection. I mean, your ability to make impactful relationships in a short period of time is literally everything. And I'm not the smartest guy on the planet by any means. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not inventing new ways to get to frickin' Mars. I said so, but here's my story, and it's crazy. And like I talk about having 6 kids, and people are like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "So many things." And it just goes into the whole story. Like my mom grew up in a big family, and I just did this in Costa Rica for the Central America Walmart show we're launching, and for 3 straight days, I need to learn Spanish, and a good thing I had a translator, and everybody's like, 6 kids. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, it just created this whole thing of people buying in the brand. They come back the next day for another sample. Like, this dude has 6 kids. That's why he's gray. And they just keep repeating the story. Next thing you know, I got 6,000 Walmart employees that say the gray haired dude with 6 kids that slings popcorn. I couldn't be known for something better. That's awesome. And it's all about the story. Everything's about the story. I mean, it's the heroes that I look up to, Colonel Sanders. I've told the story about how Colonel Sanders got started like 6,000 times. It's one of the most inspirational things I've ever heard. And if you start looking at that and you start looking at that, that's why we follow these heroes in society. It's not because of what they accomplished. It's what they overcame to get to where they accomplished that really makes us resonate with them and their story.
I love that.
I don't want this to come off in the wrong way because
you're good.
It's not like it's those stories, like you get better at telling that story.
Yeah.
Tim, I didn't hear you in the beginning of your journey telling your story into what it's transformed into. But Chad, our partner, Ben, he's a great storyteller of his story, and he's developed it over the years. Would you agree, Chad? Like we know the story, right? But like the way he delivers that story today, when he has the opportunity, the way he threads that story through so many of the lessons that he brings to his employees or his partners, you can master telling your story. Oh, yeah. It's not just the fact that you may or may not have one.
Well, it's, there's a lot of things that comes with, speaking as well. And I try to teach that to people, neuro-linguistic programming, how you say things and the order of which you say it matter, because each word has a different level of impact. It just takes practice like anything else. And I learned to not give a shit what people thought of me a long time ago. And the older I get, my give an F meter seems to be at like a -5. Now I kind of want to just poke the bear for fun. And then I see my dad. Now I'm seeing my dad in his 70s just looking to piss people off for entertainment. I'm like, this is glorious, And I tell my kids, because my kids look at me like I'm old. I'm like, I'm in my prime, guys. But understand, I have something to look forward to. I can't wait till I'm at the age where I'm going to just poke. This looks like fun. Let's piss off Karen online just for shits and giggles. I told my brand, what's our brand goals? I just had a meeting of marketing, and I said that we're big enough that we can start being Wendy's on Twitter.
Wendy's is the best follow.
Right, I've got 3 ruthless daughters. Okay, I have the team already built. They learned how to talk shit to my wife. And these girls are born and bred for this. Like the second I let them unleash hell, Wendy's is going to have another match.
Do not take a swing at Omaha protein popcorn online. You will get annihilated.
Redenbacher, you have been warned.
Right? And it's funny, right? So somebody else said about my 7-year-old, and he's like the nicest, sweetest kid ever, right? And I said, I
I closed it down. If you give me a second here in my face recognition, maybe I guess I don't look like myself today. My phone wouldn't turn on. No, I don't have it. It's KY Realtor of Choice. Somebody from Kentucky, a realtor in Kentucky left us that one. Thank you.
Shit, because he's going to have a very lonely existence for a while. So,
Bob, I think I found my new best friend. I think Tim and I are going to get along very well, as I agree that I will absolutely poke the bear just to see what happens to him. All right. Look, you've been, I said to you, before we got on here, you said, I've been talking a lot about the popcorn. Popcorn's wonderful. We're not here for popcorn. We're here for the business. We're here for life. We're here for growth. You've given us some great stuff on that. Yet take a minute. Tell us about the popcorn because Bob needs the nutrition and health input in his world.
Okay. So I've been retailing protein snacks for 20 years. Let's be real. Most of them taste like cardboard. Yes. Only meatheads like myself would find a protein bar delicious, or the fake chips, or the fake pretzels. And
the protein puffs are slightly okay.
They're okay. They're not bad.
We have to try the popcorn now to compare.
Let's look at the 90% of the population that's not going to sacrifice taste for health. I don't judge it, right? My parents, all they do is drink and golf. I applaud this. But getting a hot dog at the end of a round of 18 holes after 16 margaritas is not exactly getting protein. But they're not going to eat the bars. They're not going to drink the shakes. The little kids, they're not going to do that shit either. Most of us, like my brothers, 2 of my brothers are doctors. I don't think they've ate a protein bar in 20 years, right? They're not going to. So I needed to create something that the average person would have no idea was healthy if I didn't tell them. And the only one general thing that my entire family eats, and this huge family, is popcorn. Popcorn is the number one confectionery snack item in the world in every country. I just went to Dubai, represented the Made in America initiative, talking to this guy, this billionaire owner of grocery stores across like 16 countries. And I'm explaining how popcorn's made. And the guy starts laughing at me. It was probably a really good icebreaker, honestly. He goes, dude, I know what popcorn is. I go, okay, well, I didn't know. He goes, the Crown Prince of Dubai here owns the popcorn manufacturing facility. We love popcorn. I go, oh, fuck, I thought it was an American thing. Just ignorance and arrogance. I don't know. And we laughed about it. And guess what? He bought the damn popcorn. So, and that's, I just did a meeting with a big grocery company, and they were meeting with all the people, right? And I'm giving them the spiel. And they're like, okay, well, we'll take our advice. I go, crack a bag and eat it. They go, what? I go, just crack the bag of the white cheddar and try it. They go, why? Just one kernel. They go, holy shit. I go, I know. You can't tell. I use the highest grade protein in the world, where every other protein snack in the U.S. uses lowest grade bottom barrel garbage that there possibly is. And the funny thing is, half these protein snacks they make, the bodybuilders won't eat them because they can't digest that nasty shit anyways. Mine, I have 200 hospitals buying the white cheddar every month. They're giving it to women with gestational diabetes or nursing moms because I made it that clean. And, I made it for athletes. Pre-workout is the cheddars, post-workout's the candy coats. And, when my daughters redesigned it, instead of me trying to sell it to meatheads, sales went up 16,000%. And that's what it is. I wanted a snack for the 90% of the population the nutrition industry forgot about. That the average person can make a little bit healthier choice and not feel like they're sacrificing shit.
All right. So, folks, check out omahaproteinpopcorn.com. I've got it open on the screen beside me right now. There will be some coming. Come on, folks. You buy 2, shipping's free. You buy 3 bags, they're going to throw in a 4th
I'm buying popcorn right now. Tim, to your point, in my house, my wife, my kids, it's all they eat for snacks at night while they're watching TV. I have one son.
Hang on. I'm going to get you a promo bag sent over before you start buying.
Hey, let's go. I got one son. He's 8 years old. He's a big athlete, but he's the shittiest eater. This kid, he's snacking all day long. If I could have him snacking on something slightly more healthy, getting protein into his body, like I'm trying to shove chicken in his face and making him eat an egg in the morning.
That's my 13-year-old. He's in majors baseball. We're flying down to Phoenix to play baseball this weekend, and he's a stud athlete, majors level. Wow, like he's great. He's like, hey, can we get some McDonald's? I'm like, and I call it choke and puke. I'm like, none of that choke and puke. He's like, I can get my gains. I'm like, the only thing you're gaining is that gut and that ass by eating that shit. But he'll kill a bag of popcorn, not realizing that I just gave him the highest grade protein on the planet that I give pro athletes. And, ignorance is bliss, and it works, So, yeah, I'll get you guys both a sample package. Just give me your addresses after the show.
Hell yeah. Now, here's my question, though. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not going to make you pick a favorite child, even though that might be easy. I don't know the relationship. One of the kids might all go, oh, he loves her the most. I'm not going to make you pick a favorite child. I am going to make you pick a favorite flavor. If you could only have one bag of Omaha protein popcorn for the next month, what flavor is the one you're making sure you order?
Nacho cheddar.
That was
Love
easy.
the nacho.
I'm sold out on the website.
The spicy cheddar. That's what I'm looking at. The spicy cheddar here, going. I think this is going to be mine for sure.
Tim, you gave me this. It's sold out. What happened? Are we getting more? Like the spicy, the Omaha. Wait, which one am I looking? Nacho cheddar on the website right now, sold out. Hook me
I got
up.
chocolate delight, peanut butter, chocolate peanut butter, and white cheddar are all available. The others are currently sold out for you, Bob Stewart.
This stuff.
You got to know somebody like I do.
Yeah, shit.
All right. What it means is someone's
spicy cheddar. Spicy cheddar, is that good? I'll go spicy. I don't care.
Well, spicy is good. It's hot, dude. It's jalapeno and cayenne pepper. It was the number one we sampled down in Costa Rica. They liked that. And the only words I learned in Spanish was muy picante because I had to warn everybody. She got
I want to know what level is it on the hot ones now that that's how I relate everything on hot sauce. What level would it be?
I put it at a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8.
So you're just before Da Bomb, which is the 8, which kills everybody there. Okay, here we go. We could keep talking. We're gonna bring this to a close for our audience's sake. Here, I'm gonna give you 1 minute on the clock, Tim. This is how I do it. 1 minute on the clock. I want you to talk whatever you want. It can be popcorn. It can be legacy. It can be family. It can be business. I don't care what it is. You might have talked about it. You want to bring it up again. Maybe it hasn't been mentioned and it's sitting on your heart. What's your last minute to share with our audience?
Oh, believe in yourself of ultimate amount. Nobody's ever going to believe in you more than you do. Nobody's ever going to start to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. I get made fun of by my kids. I'm the first one to like every Facebook post and Instagram post I put out there, and they think they call me a dork. I said, listen, if I'm not a fan of me, how the hell is anyone else going to be?
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
You need to believe it. Bring it in the DNA and actually do it. I mean, I do. I share my own shit. I like my own stuff. Sometimes I might be the first one to comment on my own video, and everyone laughs. But I'm telling you right now, it works, and because I believe it to a core. Because if I got to talk people into doing crazy things with me, and I don't come out with 110%, just belief in myself to do stuff that other people think is impossible, then are we really entrepreneurs, or are we just faking it? If you're going to do it, it's got to be in the DNA, and that means every step. If you're going to put up a picture, I like my own new profile picture on one of the forums. They go, "You're the only like." I'm like, "Yeah, everyone else needs to get on the train, man. I got to be a big fan of my own Tim fan club. I should be the president of my own damn fan club." But honestly, I've had investors and businesses I've started to be like, "I think the plan is terrible, but man, you really believe this is going to happen?" I go, "I do." And they go, "Okay, we'll do it." And that's how I've gotten everything done in my life, is by pure unadulterated belief in that I can do it.
Love it. If you don't believe in you, why would anybody else?
You're a fun interview, man. Thank you for doing this today.
Appreciate
this was
absolutely.
Super
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Share this episode with someone who needs a smile and a lesson at the same time, and needs to know about the world's greatest tasting popcorn that's going to also be healthy and good for you. Until our next episode, as always, do good.